everyone, it's Kay from the Paper Shed. Hope you're all doing well. I thought I'd pop on and show you something that I made following a video. I think her name is, I think the way you say it is Saacibo. I can't be sure of that, but I will link her video down below because she did a fantastic job of these. And these have just come out. I just absolutely love the way they've come out. They're just faux metal dangles made out of store car plastics. So if you've got some credit cards, store cards, anything that you've got, I mean, these are room key ones that I've nicked out of my husband's wallet because I didn't have that many here, but I'd done these. I tried it with thick card. When I say thick, I mean 350 thick. And I think they've worked. They've worked perfectly fine. So if you don't have store card plastic, that's fine. You can use a really thick card, or even use, a decent board card. You know what we do with our covers. If you've got some oddments of that, that'd be great for using up on these because they're just fabulous. I've got to say that the sound of them being plastic is just lovely. But there is some things that I want to go over because I made a few mistakes, even though I watched the video. And these images that I've used on here are from her freebie that is part of her video. So I have done one. So I've made sort of a little one in Christmas and in normal that I will be putting in my coffee shop. And I've tried to do it very similar, but we'll see if it actually works. I don't think it will fit everything in without cutting it up. But the idea behind a freebie was for this to be cut out around so for that to be cut out and go on top. And obviously I've made mine too big. Some of them anyway. Some of them will fit. But I did notice that when I measured the cards, some of them are slightly different to the others. Like this one's quite narrow compared to these. So yours might fit, it may not. What you might have to do is put those 5 on, take this off and put it down the side here with one of these, and then that would go on there. So you might have to play with it a little bit to get to grips. But I want to do some little Christmas ones because I think they're just lovely. They've just come out lovely, and I just wanted to do some of them. But I do love the grunginess of the way these are, the way these have come out. See, these ones were done in cardboard, just normal. I think it was 200 cardboard, and it's worked. But I just don't think it's worked enough. You know, that's bendable, quite bendable. So I wouldn't use those. But I did go through the whole process. Excuse me. I did go through the whole process of the back and covering with a varnish finish. But look at these numbers. Oh my God. These are so cool. So they're those. So these are just inspirational words or planner ones, you know, with plans and ideas, important. So those were those ones. Then there is a January to December. These are lovely actually, but again, I've done some of them on card. And then there was just notes and journals. This is the months of the year. But look at the back of them. Oh, just look at that. Look at it. It's just so cool. I absolutely love them. Oh, one of my things has come off. Never mind. It'll be somewhere. So they're all. So there's days of the weeks, there's months of the year, there's inspirational words and numbers. And yeah, but I absolutely love the numbers. These are handy, the days of the month, especially if you do, you know, proper journaling. When I say proper journaling, I mean, you know, when you journal every day, as in write things down. But I will just go over a few bits and, oh, there's one there. Oh, that's a plain one. Okay, so I just love the way these have come out. And look at the back. Now, I used a few different techniques because I wanted to try out different things. And to be honest, she's already done that in her video. So, I mean, that was just black acrylic paint with a gold rub on. What do you call it? The gild. And I love that. That's come out just so nice. And it does look like metal. These ones I've used, she used gesso in her video. But these ones I used my texture paste, which I make myself. But I think I did it in places a little bit too thick, but I wanted the texture. And it just looks like metal that's rusted so bad. I just don't know if it would, there you go, look. Oh, look at it. That's just so perfect on a number. It's just so nice just to make dangles. And I do love these numbers. Now, I will just show you though, because when I come to varnish, I initially, I have varnish because I do mandala paintings. So I sprayed it, and what happens is it goes, I'll show you on those two because it caught those two. Come on, focus, focus, focus. Can you see it? So it goes, it makes the ink bleed. So anything that you've printed makes it bleed. This one was really bad. So it's, and this one, you can see where it caught down the bottom here. And it's, I mean, as much as I like it, it hasn't put me off, but I wouldn't use the spray varnish. So I tried Mod Podge, which is mainly on these, which, is it on there? This is a Mod Podge one, and I much prefer the look of it, purely because it's a matte. It has got a sheen to it. If I can just show you through the window. There. It has got a sheen to it, look, but it's not bad. I mean, look at that. Oh, just love it. And then with a little dangle on and a little dangle and a hook, that'd just be great on any journal, I think. And as I say, these images, this one's a Mod Podge one again, which I prefer. Have I got a high gloss one in that? I think this is one. So this was a water-based varnish that I used on this one. This has obviously got caught by the other varnish, the smelly varnish. I call it smelly varnish. I don't actually know what it is. Polyurethane stuff, but it smells, so you know whether it's going to work or not. So if you can smell the varnish, then you know that that's going to make your ink bleed, because it's got something in it that reacts. And I obviously got a bit on here, but I like that. And obviously it's made the edges run, because I inked my edges and it's made them run. But I just think they're just so cool. And I mean, I just love it. So yeah, so that's what we're going to be making today. And I'm going to be using the ones that I've made up. So I will make these available in my Ko-fi. They aren't perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but it gives you an idea. And if you wanted to use any of them, it's fine. They're going to be free. It's just a freebie. Well, all of my coffee stuff is freebie. I don't make them to sell. And it just, so some of them will fit. So that one fits fine. This one isn't going to fit. So you would have to cut those out. It depends on what you're going to put them on. If you're going to put them on a 350 GSM card or board, you know, the board that we use for our covers. Or you can just, because I mean, like if you do make covers out of the grey board, you'll have bits off them. Well, you can just use those, and all you need to do is just cut those out and pop them on. Or I would actually cut it out like that and pop it on. So you could cut down there, for instance, and just pop that on one. You could do the same with that. And you could cut, like this one is too big on both sides for that. So I would just make that a little bit bigger. I'd make the board a little bit bigger. Or I would just cut off some of the edges on that one, actually. But like on this one, because there's quite a big difference here, I would just omit one of those and one of those. Or I'd move that one up. It's just easy. I mean, you can cut them out and put them on individually. It's just that I thought it would be just easier to sort of create it so that you can stick it directly onto one card and you haven't got to fiddle, because it does take time. And I've done 2 pieces. And as I say, some will fit, some won't. I've left blank ones so that you can put your own numbers on, or, you know, your own little bits on before you varnish. So that might be helpful. So I'm going to go away and I'm going to start the prep, and I'll see you in a moment. Okay, so I'm back with the first process. So you will need to put it on something because it is a little bit messy. I would suggest you use gloves if you don't like getting messed up. There is 2 processes, so I'm going to do 2 one way and I'm going to do 3 the other way. So you will need some acrylic paints. I've just got these ones, which is an olive green, a sienna, and a black or grey, very dark grey. I've also got white acrylic paint, which we will be using, and there is 2 methods to this. One is obviously the acrylic paint method, and the other is a texture paint method. Now, Saacibo used the white acrylic paint and a gesso for hers, and I couldn't find my white gesso, so I'm using my made up texture paint. I haven't got much left actually, so we'll need to make some more of that, but I've got enough for this, so that'll be fine. And the texture paint one will be using alcohol inks. Now I've only got a limited supply, and everything that I did to do her versions, I did using my own materials. And I haven't bought anything new for this. I've just used exactly what I've got, and I still got, you know, some great results. So you don't need to go out and buy anything. You just need to use what you have, and I'm sure you'll get, you know, a fabulous result. So I've got Dijon, I've got butterscotch, I have got a stream, and I have got sienna. They were the 4 that I used on my other one. I did use a red, but it was too red and I didn't like it, so I haven't included it this time, because I want it to have that metal grunged feel about the back of them. So the first process will be to paint up and get the texture paint on. So I'm going to start that now. You will need also a straw. You will need a palette knife or something to put your texture paint on, and you will need some sponge. Now I'm just using old, you know, sink sponges that I've just cut up. If you've got, you know, sponge dabbers, then use those. The first time I used a dabber, but I let it dry like you do, and it had to go in the bin. So I haven't got any more. So I'm just going to use a sponge from the kitchen, and I've just cut it up into 3 pieces. To start with, we're just going to use the acrylic paints to get some colour on. So it's just the 3 colours, and I'm just going to do it on these ones here. I'm just going to dibby-dabby some of those on, just blotches. I'm running out of the black. There we go. Blob, blob, blob. You probably don't need this much actually to be honest. But it's better to have more than less. And do these in any colour you want. You know, if you want orange or other bits, then, you know, use that. It's fine. So I'm just going to blob it on anywhere you like. For this one, I think I've probably got enough there. And then I'm just going to get a sponge, and I'm just literally, I need my tweezers to hold this because it goes everywhere. And then I'm just going to dab it on. And what you're looking for is the texture of the sponge. Okay. And cover it really well. Doesn't matter if you get it on the other side. Probably used a bit too much paint. And I've probably overdone that one. So I'll try not to do this one too much, so that I've got some of those colours in there. Just want to. Okay, so they're very different. I've done one really over dabbed, and then I've done one not so over dabbed to leave a bit of those colours showing through. Doesn't matter if you get it on the other side, we're going to rub that off. Because the other thing that you're going to need is you're going to need some sanding paper, either on a sanding block or whatever it is that you use. A nail file will do. You can use a nail file. It will work. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lift that up and just pop it down here to dry out of that wet paint. Okay. I'm just going to get the majority of that up. Okay, and then what we're going to do on these ones is we're just going to stick some texture paint down. And what you'll need to do with this is you'll just need to take the shine off the top. So I'm just going to use a nail file, and I'm just going to take the shine off of that. Okay, take the shine off of this one, which I think I've done already on one of them. It's just so that it adheres a little bit better. Now on the first one, I used a nectar card and it had raised numbers. So if you're using texture paint, and I think you'd be able to cover it even with the acrylic paint because of the texture, but I tried it on my my nectar card, which it's a bit like a credit card where it has a raised numbers on the front. And I didn't think I was going to be able to use it, but I managed to use it by using the texture paint, and it worked fine. You can't even tell what it was. And then I'm just going to get a bit of texture paint. Now I used quite a bit on the first lot that I did, and I wasn't overly keen. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to sort of, a bit like cake baking, just ice it a little bit to give that a bit of texture. Yeah. Okay. And then I use the end of my brush. I haven't got a brush. The end of my tool, my palette knife, just to give it some texture on the top. Now you can either do that with this, or you can do it with, now I haven't got like a texture paint, this is a smooth texture paint, and but I suppose you could actually use a grained texture paste, might work just as well. So whatever you have, just go for it, because that's what I did and I found it cool. So we're going to do that on all 3 of these. Getting my fingers in it everywhere. I don't need that much on there. I'm going to take that off. And I'm flicking it everywhere now as well. Like I said, it's quite a messy job, but you know, I just want a little bit because I want that covered. It is going to be painted, and I just need to get rid of that fingerprint there. Just leave that there for a sec, and then I'm just going to get another piece of sponge. So you can do it with your tool, with your palette knife, and make like a frosted look, like on a cake, or you can just come along and do it with a sponge to give you a much flatter texture. I didn't try this the first time, but I do like the heavier texture, and I think you'll get a heavier texture if you put more paste on. But I think mine were a little bit too thick last time. But yeah, I think that's cool. So I'm just gonna put a bit more on there. And just flatten those peaks down, and maybe that'll work a little bit better. And then all I'm going to do is just leave those to dry. So what you're actually looking for, I know you can't really tell on there. So my hands are dirty anyway, so I will pick one up and show you what I mean. So you're just looking for, see if you will focus. Has it focused? It's just some sort of texture on the top. So that was my heavier textured one. And then you've got this one, which is much, come on, I don't think you can see it, which is much less textured, but it is textured still. And it's the same with the paint ones. I'm not going to pick those up because they're messy. But yeah, that's what you're looking for. And then we just need to leave all of that to dry. And then once that's dry, I'll come back. Okay, so I'm back. It's all dry. It's taken quite well. I love the feel of these textured ones because it gives it a nice feel as well. So they're all pretty good. What you're going to need for this little bit is for the acrylic painted ones. And in my first one, I did actually do a complete black one with just texture, you know, the sponge texture on it. And then gilded it with some gold, and that came out brilliantly. So if you wanted to have a lighter background, then just use more of the lighter colours in your paints, because you don't have to use the same colours that I've used. You can make these any colour you want. The other video, she uses silver, but I've had to use what I've got, and all I've got is a gold gilding polish and this beautiful blue. And I'll show you what that is. So we're going to do those with that. And then for these ones, you're going to need your alcohol inks, a straw, and we're going to need a file of some sort. And the reason you need your file is just to get this part off of here. And I'm going to do that first. So I'm just going to get rid of all of that and make those flat for when we stick. You're going to need to just take the shine off the back just so that your glue will stick your paper down. So we're going to do that first. So we're going to start with these ones, and all you're going to do with this really is you're just going to get your gilding paste and you're just going to rub little bits on it. So if you prefer to wear gloves for this bit. Just going to get a little bit on, and I'm just going to dab it on and sort of lightly rub the top just to catch that texture on the top there. Look at that already. Let's do a sort of lighter version. Just dibby-dabbying around slightly. And so if you've got different gilding paste, the silver is amazing, but I just don't have it. So I have got a blue. Let's just try a blue on it and just see what it looks like. I just want to dab it sort of in places. I just love this colour. Yeah, I think that's enough on there. But you get the drift. If you've got different gilding paste, then use whatever it is that you have. As I say, I've only got those two, so I can only show you with the two that I've got. But I mean, you know, they're done. That's your finished piece. And then when you cut it up, when you fill the back in and cut this up, it will look just amazing. And I love it. That I find that the easiest way. This way is a little messy. So that's my sort of one with the more texture on it. These are more flatter. And what we do with these is we just get a straw. You just need it as a blowing tool for when you come to do these. And let me do one of these first. I'll bring those ones back in a sec because this gets a tad messy. I wonder if I'd be better off with some tissue on the bottom. I probably will. So let me just get some, just so that it soaks it up really. And then all you're going to do is you're just going to dab it in places. Love this method. Should really take the lids off of these for the time being. The lid off. Yeah, you need to do this before it dries, otherwise it sort of dries in a spot. So if you get it wet, perfect. Leave the lid off. And then you just get your straw. Just blow the excess off. Perfect. Sort of want a little bit more of that down here. Maybe a little bit more blue. Perfect. Get your tweezers to pick them up. I mean, I've got ink all over my hands already. And just pop that there to dry. They will dry quite quickly, to be fair. Let's get the next one. So that's like a flatter textured one. These ones are just fun to do. I mean, this effect is just great, but these ones are a different effect altogether, really. And again, I'm just using what I've got. And I like that one with the things on already. That looks cool. Oh, I do like the bigger textured ones better. Just get another couple of napkins. And then we're going to do this one, which is the other sort of less. Just put a bit of each colour on. Now I'm doing the same colours, but you could do these different. And but to be honest, they turn out different each time you do them anyway. Doesn't matter that you get it on the other side because you're going to be covering it. Look at that one. I love that. I mean, if you wanted to do this on plastic so that you could soak all this up and make some dibby-dabby papers, that would probably be a good idea. But that's that one. And then we're just going to leave that to dry. They don't take long, actually, the alcohol inks. They don't take long to dry at all. Okay, so they're just about dry, more or less. Yeah, they're just about dry. You might have got a little bit on the back, but don't worry about that. That'll glue. That'll glue over fine. And I'm just going to get the gold gild out again. A little bit on my hand. And then I'm just going to rub in places on this one. I'm not going to go so heavy. Look at them. I haven't done them as heavy as the acrylic painted ones, but you sort of get the gist. If I bring those up, you can sort of see the gold gild on there. That's the heavier textured one. I love that. And then this one is the lighter touch. Try to sort of get it so that you couldn't see where you'd done it, you know, rubbed. But they all come out differently anyway in a little while. So then we can sort of get rid of this now. Let me just get these together. I'll just get rid of this so it's out of the way. And then we're going to turn them over. And we're going to stick our pieces of card down. Now what I've done is I found some Vibes of Vintage number tickets that I had, which I've cut out. So you can do the same with these pieces as well. I've cut these into the portions that I was thinking for the cards. So you could literally just stick that on as a whole, or you could place these on wherever you want to make the numbers. It's a lot, I love this one. And the thing with this part is that if you don't have the full piece to put on, you tend to, see, these are pretty. You tend to have quite a bit more waste, and it's a shame when you've gone to all the trouble to do the back. So you could fill them up like that, like so. Yeah. Or you could cut these out individually and place them on. I do feel that you do get, it doesn't matter if they overhang, they just become smaller. That one I can't have overhanging. That one I could. And then you just glue them on like so. Don't worry that it goes over the edge, we're going to cut them out. So you can pick whatever you want to go on the back of yours, and all we're going to use is a stronger, you'll know which glue it is because it'll be your smelly glue. That's the only way I can describe it. I think this is a Team U's version of the E6000. But I quite like this glue because it's got a needle tip with a pin thing in it, and it works quite well. So what is good, but this glue does take a bit more time to dry than your normal crafting glue. So we're just going to leave those to dry. How many have we got? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. We've got 25 there. 25 dangles that we've made from those ones. And they're all varied, which is what I mean. If you was to stick the whole of that down, for instance, I mean, that's fine. If you were going to make a, you know, if you're putting it in a folio or you're making, you know, a monthly journal or something, these would be great. But I think if you want a variety, then you have to do it this way by putting into them. So I think what we'll do is leave those to dry and then I'll come back. Okay, so I've been busy cutting them out. So what I've done is I've literally just cut out some. Don't use your good scissors for this because it's plastic and you will find that it will blunt your scissors really quickly. So I'm literally just cutting around my pieces like so. Now it's quite hard going, but you just need to take your time. So I'm just going to chop that piece off there. And then I'm just going to chop that piece off there. These numbers are fantastic. And then what I'm going to do with each of these is I'm just taking off the corners because I want to round them. So I'm just chomping those corners a little bit. But I mean, if you don't want round, well, I think you're better off having round corners because of this plastic. You don't want those to have points on the end of there. But just taking off these little corners will help you when you come to file it down. And I will just show you that in just a sec when I've finished this cutting out. One more on here and then one more on there. I actually didn't do too bad a job on that. I think we'll be able to file that and that'll look okay. So I'm quite pleased with that. These ping off everywhere, by the way, so you'll have them all over your craft room. But that's what we want. Just a little bit of corner off there just helps with your filing. So yeah, it does. It is a bit hard on your hands. So if you have problems, get someone else to cut them out for you, maybe. So what we're now going to do is we're just going to get our file, whichever file that you have. I've just got an old nail file here, and I'm literally just going to take those edges off. Just like that. And that's all it takes. This isn't arduous at all. Okay, so you're just rounding those corners just slightly. Shall I zoom in a little? Maybe you could see better. Actually, I'll just bring it up. So you're literally just doing the edge so that it's rounded, and it's just a couple of strokes with your rougher side of your nail file, that way, that way, that way, and that way, just to get that bit off, and you've got a nice rounded corner there. That's literally all it is. So I'm going to carry on, and I'm just going to file mine down and round those corners on everything, and then I'll be back for the next stage. Okay, so I filed around the edges, and then what I did was I just inked it up with some walnut stain all the way around the edges. Now, I mean, I absolutely love these. I adore these numbers. If you wanted to, just to make it a little bit more grungy, you could then just go in and file some areas to make it look more aged, and that would be quite cute. The other thing that I did was I went round some of the edges with the gold gild. So it just depends on what look that you want. I mean, I like the grungy feel, so I've gone more grungy. I mean, these have turned out quite nice, although I've got gild everywhere. But I think that would actually still be quite a nice piece. These ones I haven't done yet. And the other thing that you can do is use Sharpies just to go on the edge if you don't like the white of the plastic showing. It's easy to do. You can use any colour that you want to enhance your piece. So there's lots of different creative ways that you can, enhance your dangle in one way or another. And I think they look cool. This one's still got quite a bit of paint on, so I'm just going to do that in just different areas, just to cover that bit of white up. I have inked, and some of the plastic takes it and some doesn't. So it all depends on how you want to do it. I mean, these ones have been inked, and, it sort of takes but doesn't, if that makes sense. So our next stage, once you've done all of those and gone around your edges, you can either, the first time I did it, I actually put the holes in now and my eyelets in. It didn't hinder the way that I was doing it at all. It worked pretty well. I just used my crocodile and it was fine. It cut through fine. I managed to get the eyelets in fine. So I think that's what I would do. I would go away, I would put my holes in, and then all I would do then is Mod Podge the top and the back. Now, obviously, that's going to take some time, obviously, because you're going to need to leave it to dry, then turn them all over and do it again. So as I say, it is a process to get to where you want to be with this, but I think they are worth the process. Work on a tray, and then you can just keep moving it out the way until the next bit. I just think they're perfect. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and put my holes in and my eyelets in, and then I'm going to varnish, and then I'll come back and show you all of what we've done today. Okay, so we're back and we're finished, and look at all this gorgeousness. They come out so cool. I just absolutely love them. So I hope you did too. I'm going to just give you a quick overview. I've just stuck some little bit of extras just to show you how you can enhance them in different ways for your dangles. You can put them on ball pins, paper clips, chain, ribbon, whatever you want to do. And look at all of them. I've got so many. That's so cool. Do you like my basket? My basket's cool, actually. I just used all the oddments of what I'd got left off some rolls. And I love the way that it's come out. Love it. Anyway, that's a different project altogether. So here's the two little Christmas ones, and I absolutely adore these. I've just put a bit of the snowy sort of, I don't know what that's called, that fabric. But look how cute they are. And I actually do prefer this matte finish to a shinier finish. But I mean, that's all dependent on you, really. I don't think you can see it on camera. But I love them. They're so cute. And then there's these ones. These ones are lovely. Have I got any more of them? Just two? But we got 25 out of that lot, which would last you quite a while. I think that's quite good. And with the little charms on, they just make... So, I mean, I've got a button on that one. But you can put whatever you want on. You could put tassels on them. You could do whatever you want, really. They've come out really nice. And I like the... I mean, look at the back. I mean, they're not great, but I've got to say, I do prefer the other method, which is just the acrylic paint method. So there's it with a chain. I actually quite like it with these chains. I think they're quite nice. It's a bit different as well. So they're cool as well. These are the two that were from before, the first time, and these are the high glossed ones. And yeah, I do like them, but I think it's down to personal preference. I do think that they look more metal being shiny, I suppose, maybe. Here's the two journal ones, which I think are cute, with a little bit of ribbon and a bit of lace. That one's got a charm. And the back of those, this is the preferred back. So that's with the texture paint. So you've got one here with the texture paint, and you've got one here with just the acrylic paint method. And I actually prefer this method. I think the result is much better. I just love that. Love it. Then we have these grungy numbers. Look at these. See, these ones are all the ones with just the acrylic paint. And I just think they've come out amazing. Look at them. Come on, camera, focus. Can you focus? I'm going to focus, is it? Is it focused? Yeah? That's gorgeous, isn't it? Just love them. And then over, and you've got all of those there. They're just so cool. Love them. Just love the way they've come out. And this one's lovely. I've got a button on that. I'm not keen on the button, but I'll find something a bit more grungier for that, because that's got the nicer back on it as well, and I love it. Then you've got Merry Christmas, very grunged up Merry Christmas, but it is a Merry Christmas nonetheless. Notes. Then there's this one. This is cool with a little bit of ribbon on. But these are definitely fun to make. They're fun to make. They're a bit messy, so if you don't like messy, look at that one. I like that one. Can't tell whether it's... There you go. See the grunginess around it? And then that's the back. It was more heavily textured than the ones that I did. And I think the heavier texture came out better. Because if you look on the ones that I've done where I've only just textured it, a lot of it has worn off where I've filed. So that might be something you'd want to consider. I do think that's a better result than that. So I was just trying it without the... God, there you go. See, this one is a lot more heavier textured than this one, and I've got lots and lots of patches. I mean, I don't mind it. I will gild it a little bit more, and that will probably help a little. And if you've got the antique gold, I think for the grunge, that would be even nicer. And I do know from watching Saacibo that she uses a lot of different colours. So she's got the silver is amazing. But I do think that they are better with the heavier texture paste. But, you know, we'll see. I think if we have a... So yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. If you do have a go, do post your pictures, because I'd love to see it, because you could make these pretty with florals. You could do anything. I mean, I've just picked grunge because I know I'll use them, so that's perfect for me. So I mean, look at that. Look at it. I just love it. I mean, that's gorgeous. Anyway, so I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.